Done. Nailed it. Nailed it. I'm so itchy, by the way. If I scratch all the time, it's apparently pregnant life. It's what it does. And I feel like I did actually, I fully wiped my screen earlier, but I think that's better. That's a clearer picture. Right. Right. We will crack on and people can just come in as they're coming in because I feel like there's loads. There's loads of little bitty bobbies that I want to get through. So, we are obviously we will get into reverse dieting. I promise that's coming, but I've got like a whole pile of notes. So let's start with the summit. We're going back to the 7th, guys. I'm really sorry. We genuinely tried to be a democracy with a voting system. We didn't find another date with more women. And it's a real shame because obviously when there was nearly 40 of you that wants to attend and we've only managed to get half of you there, I think the only thing we can do going forward is kind of select a date 6 months in advance and hopefully then people haven't filled their diaries already. That's probably the only thing we can realistically do. So we are back to the 7th. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm probably going to do it in a couple of days because we're also doing a free challenge. So we know the numbers are fine for the summit. We know who's kind of based on who's voted. We kind of know that. So I will get you to fill out the booking on form. The only reason for that as well, we want your dietary information. So we just want to make sure we've got all of that ahead of the day. So I still need you to do it, even though the numbers are within reason. Free challenge is launching on Friday. This is an amazing opportunity. Anyone that said, "Oh my God, how do you look like that?" or whatever it might be. But obviously, you guys get a free month. I've got a cough from the weekend, by the way. I think my lungs just hit capacity. There's no room in the inn. Yeah, you guys get a free month for anyone that you refer into the program. So obviously, what I'll do tonight. I put the artwork for this free challenge into the main page. Download it, pop it on your stories, send it to anyone that you think might be interested. Do you know what I mean? They just need to get onto my Instagram essentially. If anyone doesn't have Instagram, that's fine too. They just need to WhatsApp me. So obviously you can send them my number. But that's a great opportunity for you guys to potentially bag yourself some free coaching because the referrals are usually some of the ones who come in. So good shots. Um, Positivity. I feel like we need more of it. I feel like for some reason on a Friday, it just goes boom. And I'm assuming it's when some of you guys check in and you don't love it or whatever. But it's like, just as a reminder. So, the main thing, if your main thing is fat loss, that is always nutrition. That's where the answers are going to lie. And I can see it a mile off when somebody's like, oh, I go in and I'm like, this is exactly where it's gone wrong. And you can see it. But it's always in nutrition. I'm not even going to look at how many steps did this person do? How many times did they do a training session? I will not even consider that as what I look at. It's always going to be in the nutrition piece. Steps, again, I do get it. I think I heard on the news the other day, it has rained every single day consecutively in the entire of 2026 so far, and there is no let up anytime soon. So I do get it. The weather sucks. It genuinely does. But I feel like, again, I mentioned it before, we live in the UK, guys. We can't, do you know what I mean? They're not saying this in Dubai, but unless you're going to hop over there, then it kind of is what it is. Like, we've just got to suck it up and go with it. And trust me, when you have dogs, we get it. We really get it. Like, we understand how shitty it is because we don't have a choice but to get those dogs out on a walk. Some of you guys, your dogs don't even like going out on a walk. Do you know what I mean? So, again, we understand kind of what's going on with the weather and everything out there. But I want to see more positivity because I think what can happen is negative energy can attract and it kind of starts to spiral. It starts to go in a bit of a tornado, but positive energy does the same thing. So if you then surround yourself with positivity and the vibes of I can do this, I've got this, I'm going to do this, this is my plan, this is what I'm happening, all of this, that spirals as well. And then that can create a tornado of its own energy. So we just want to make sure that we're we're in the positive side. And even if, like, and sometimes you are going to have a moan, you're going to have a gripe, you're going to have a niggle, you're going to have it, like, whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's absolutely fine. But just try not to join in on the bandwagon. Try and be like, you've got this, sister. Do you know what I mean? Come on, queen. Like, give them kind of the good energy, not going, yeah, life is shit, isn't it? Yeah. It fucking sucks, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like, sometimes that's actually not the most helpful advice. Um, Right, shout outs. We've got quite a few actually. Just making sure I don't miss anything. So Mandy, turbulent time at the minute, God bless her soul. Like lots going on, but still an absolute fucking warrior. Managed to get back into the gym today. And this is somebody where you could quite easily throw the towel in and you'd actually kind of in that position go, you know what, I understand. I understand that this is an uphill battle, but no, she's still fighting. She is still showing up. And there's probably not many of you that are in a more challenging position than Mandy at the moment. So, do you know what I mean? If she can fucking do it, anyone in the program can do it. Sarah Barker, first time going to the gym on her own, which again, massive milestone. Gym anxiety is real. It is a thing. And when we can actually beat the demons inside of our head and then we go, wow, this is amazing, genuinely can change your entire life when you can get to that point. So, well done, Sarah. We are very proud of that. Heather, so we getting huge like compliments, like skin, her complexion, her positivity, her energy, like this whole shift around Heather as a person, which is again amazing to hear. Natalie is reverse dieting like an absolute baddie, which again is sensational because ultimately that's what we want and that's what we're here to talk about today. But finally, we've also got Angela, who is just she's had a sensational couple of weeks actually, really, really good. I feel like, you know, when you get into that stride, into that flow state, like she's absolutely crushing it. So well done to Angela as well. So, right, hang on. I think that's all of my announcements. I'm pretty sure that. Oh, no, one more. I go skiing on Friday. So if I do your check-ins. There is basically no possibility of me doing them on the Friday. So what I am doing, to be fair, our standard inside of StrongHER is to always make sure you get them back in time for the new week. So I will be doing the check-ins on Saturday and Sunday. So please bear with me. If anyone does want quicker feedback than that, my advice is to check in on the Thursday because then I will be able to get back to you on the Thursday and it won't take over the weekend. But yeah, it's just I think we fly from Manchester at 9 o'clock in the morning, so we have to leave the house at 5 a.m. For a pregnant woman. That's not the one, let me tell you. I know the hormones are going to come out that day. And probably the sickness as well. So yeah, we've got to leave the house at about 5 a.m. and I think we will get to the apartment in Norway at about 9 p.m. So it's a fucking long day, is what I will say, but it's worth it. But my God, is it going to kill me? So please just be mindful of that. Thursday, if you want a faster check-in, if you're happy with Saturday, Sunday, it will definitely come back to you, I promise. And yeah, that's what's going to happen. So that's definitely all of my announcements. So we're going to go to reverse dieting. Hang on, let me share my slides. Excuse me. I'll try and I lost a voice because cheerleading, I'm the shouter, the one that's like shouting all of the instructions of what's happening, and now I've got no voice to give. So, reverse dieting, the strong her way, because this is quite a unique thing, by the way, to our coaching program. Most coaches you would ever come across do not even consider after the fat loss phase. That's just not something that they do, and it's just not of interest to them. I would die on my sword for this phase. I think it is vital. We'll go into it for so many different reasons. But what is a reverse diet essentially? Because you kind of go, what? What does that even mean? But it's essentially after you finish the fat, well, there's a couple of ways we would use it, but it's an intentional gradual increase of food intake, so calories and macros across the board, following a dieting or a fat loss phase, or somebody that has overly restricted themselves for a very long time, and we might need to gradually reverse diet them because of their relationship with nutrition. So there's a couple of different strings to this bow of why we would use a reverse diet. But essentially, it's helping avoid rapid fat gain. We don't want to do that. You don't want to come out of a fat loss phase and go through all of that fucking effort and energy and then literally put the fat back on. It's like soul destroying. But you see it time and time again, usually. And it's really sad when it happens, but there are sometimes people who come into the program where they might only do 3 months, they lose the fat, and then they go, amazing, I'm gone. I've done what I needed to do. And then usually, and I can always tell because they've usually said to me on the consultation, I worked with a coach last year and I got great results, but now I'm really struggling again. That's why. And you kind of go, oh, if only you stuck around with a coach for a little bit longer, or us who do this, other coaches don't, but and then because other coaches don't, people usually don't have it in their head to stick around a bit longer, but there you go. Rebuilding metabolism. The longer we diet for, the slower our metabolism can become. So, what we don't want to do is crash it. We also do coach refeed days for that very reason, but we want to speed up that metabolism with the extra increase in food. Supports your muscle growth and hormonal balance. Like as women, we need this. We need food. Food is fuel. Energy is life at the end of the day. We can't stay in a fat loss phase forever. We have to get the fuck out of there as fast as we can in an ideal world. Prep your body for future fat loss phases again if needed. So if you do want to go through the bulk, through the cut, through the bulk, through the cut, reverse diet will always kind of sit in the middle. Usually a little bit easier if you've done a fat loss phase, then a reverse diet, and then you do decide, right, you know what, I want to pack on a little bit more muscle, a bit faster, and I'm happy to do a little mini bulk, that's usually when a reverse diet is a little bit easier. Again, we have to be careful who does what to make sure that the relationship with food is okay, because some women I would never ever recommend bulking to. But who needs a reverse diet? I would argue probably all of you at some point. So scenario one is what I talked about briefly there. You've lived on really low calories for too long and you're often stuck in that kind of chronic diet phase. We can't do that. But if I suddenly said, right, I'm going to feed you 600 calories more overnight, that person would shit a brick. That's not the point. We've got to be able to work with them to get them to where they need to be. Scenario number two, you've just completed a successful fat loss phase, which is one of the primary reasons inside of StrongHER, and you're ready to return to maintenance. Both require a structured approach to upregulate your metabolism and avoid that fat gain. But why don't we just go straight up to maintenance and go, bang, you know what, done, straight back up to maintenance. So after a diet, your metabolism is adapted to a lower intake. So jumping straight up to maintenance can usually cause that fat gain. It just doesn't understand. The body can't go from one extreme to the other overnight. But what I would also say is there usually does become a little bit of fear. So when you've done your fat loss phase, and let's say you're, I don't know, on 1400, 1500 calories, whatever you're on, if I said to you, done, amazing, let's go straight up to 2200 calories, 23, 2500 calories, like whatever it might be, you would go, fuck no, no, I'm not ready. And it would suddenly feel really, really hard to go from the amount of food that you are eating to suddenly like almost, do you know what I mean? In some instances, doubling it or very close to, you'd be like, that's a long way. And mentally, a lot of people fear that move to go, oh, that feels like a big, big leap. I'd rather just baby step it. I'd rather just see this happen for myself and just build confidence because that's what it is. The fear of putting the fat back on. We're building the confidence back up so that you've got a bit more food freedom again. But essentially, it's a bridge. We're just climbing that bridge gradually and watching how your body responds. So think of it as a metabolic recovery plus strategy. It's that next level coaching that is absolutely phenomenal. So how does it actually work? So what I will do, or Coach Kat will do, is we're slowly going to add those macros. We're going to look at how your body is responding. And this is where your photos are fucking paramount to us as coaches. And this is also where your feedback, this is why we ask you if your period is on. We need to know all of these pieces of the information. I'd argue it's more important during a reverse diet than a fat loss phase, because we need to know what we're working with in order to make decisions. This is where we need to know your social life. Feels intrusive, but we've got to make the right decisions on the day as to what we're doing with your macros moving forward so that we're not inadvertently getting it wrong. So what we normally do is slowly drip feed your macros over, like, it could be weekly, it could be bi-weekly. Like, it completely depends on the woman, it completely depends on the situation, it depends on the time of the month, it depends on your hormones, it depends on blah 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 blah. There are so many considerations that go into this, so it's not as straightforward as going, this is exactly it. Like, one woman's reverse diet to another's will look completely different. We're working with you on a one-to-one basis here, but usually we're aiming to increase by between 50 to 150 calories, depending on how your body is responding. Like I said, we're monitoring everything. We need to know the full piece of the puzzle here in your check-ins in order to be able to do this accurately. And we're adjusting it based on data, not emotions. And I'm always working, anyone that works with me will know, I'm a very data-driven kind of person. I'm not so much in the emotion camp. Kat is amazing, by the way, at that side of things. She's a lot more emotionally aware as a person than I am. Sometimes I upset people, and I don't mean to. I'm just blunt and I'm honest and I say it as it is. Now, if you've got to reverse diet with me, you probably work very well with me, and we know how each other works. Whereas, do you know what I mean? I'm probably not going to do that with someone you've got to emotionally be ready for this phase, and you've got to trust us as your coaches in order to get you there. But we will take it into consideration, more so Kat than me. I will tell you what you need to hear, whereas Kat's more likely to say, look, yeah, you know what, like, but again, we tend to categorize people based on how we think we can coach different women the right way, essentially. So what about the scales? So the scales can do bits in a reverse diet. And this can really be the head fog. Now, there are occasions where what we are likely to do, so let's say your goal weight is maybe like 60 kg. We might take two considerations here. So one, we might actually say, let's just do the fat loss phase a little bit longer. Let's just go to 58. Let's just push it a little bit further. So what we do is create a buffer. So in that reverse diet phase, we've got that buffer going on so that we've got the wiggle room, because food weighs something. Okay, so when it's in your body and in your system, carbohydrates are going to go up. We're going to see a little bit more water retention. So depending on what I see when I look at your body composition, I might think, yeah, you know what? We don't want to see any of that. So we just want to drop a little bit lower so that we've got that buffer. Other clients I might look at and go, no, beautiful, perfect. We don't need the buffer. Doesn't need to be there, because this is the package that we just want to keep now. And actually, what can happen, so this happened really well with Caroline, where actually the increase in food, it made her muscles look beautifully full. She suddenly was looking a bit drier, a bit waterier, and then suddenly it was like boom, the food, and it just worked so beautifully to have that. So it can completely depend on the woman again, and what I'm looking at and what I'm deciding on the day to go, right, okay, this is how we're going to play this. But you might see a bit of fluctuation. It's a little bit like a refeed where your calories are coming up a bit, your body kind of goes, oh, and then it goes, whoa, more calories, we're going to burn more energy, woo! And then the weighing scales come down a little bit. Obviously, the closer we get to maintenance, the less likely we are to see as many fluctuations. But we're going to get the temporary water weight. It will drop again if we're doing things at the right times. Hormonal shifts, improved digestion. So again, just to discuss Caroline, her period is back. This was one of the things that we've been working on to go, right, we've got to bring this period back. And again, we've been going through this for a little while, but perfect. Exactly what we want to see to go, right, your body composition is now holding beautifully. Your cycle is back. Your North Star as a woman is exactly where I want to be. We had it with Stacey the other day as well, a return of a period. She's the lightest weight she's been in forever. But her period is now returned because her body's in a really, really happy place. So if you are following an organic cycle and you're not perimenopausal, obviously that's slightly different, or you're not PCOS, endometriosis, if we don't have any reason or on the pill or anything for preventing periods, then ideally in a natural cycle we do want to see that monthly flow. That is a sign of good health. So again, really, really good. Improved digestion. You can see this. A lot of you guys coming over out of Christmas, you go back into a cut phase, it can slow down, can't it? Your digestion can slow down a little bit, and then reverse, you're likely to see it speed up a little bit, which is great. But none of this, any fluctuation on the weighing scale, it's not fat. It's not fat. If you're doing this correctly, and as we are coaching you, it is not body fat. It is, again, it's going to be the fuel that you need to actually live your life. But you have to consider that, let's say you're cutting on 1500 calories, that's your diet phase, and you're building muscle, then your new maintenance might be like 2300 calories, 2500 calories. And if I'm reversing you 1600, 1700, 1850, 2000, you're still technically in a deficit. So we can still see the weighing scales come down or level because we've got a bit more food in us. So we're going to hold that, but obviously we're still in a deficit. So your body's kind of going, whoa, and it's finding that balance really, really nicely. So why won't you gain body fat? And here's how it works. So essentially, the increases are slow and controlled. They're very deliberate. We're working with you very, very deliberately and strategically with what's going on. So please trust us because I do know it's hard. I know it's really difficult to believe that this can be true. But I promise you, if you're listening to us and following our guidance, it works. You're still lifting, you're still moving. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've suddenly become highly sedentary. Like the average UK woman absorbs 2000 calories as maintenance a day. That's without muscle mass on the level that you guys are actually training to actually increase that metabolic rate. And the more muscle you have, it is about 3.5 times more that you will burn with decent muscle mass on your physique, which you're all doing, versus someone who doesn't. So you are likely to burn those more in terms of the energy output, even while you sleep. So what you're doing is increasing your resting calories. So you're burning more even if you're highly sedentary doing nothing, but you're not highly sedentary, you're all moving, so it's great. Your body is more metabolically flexible, which is what I've just mentioned. And again, you've built the muscle. That is what is buying you the future life that you all want to live. I promise you, dropping the body fat is half of the puzzle. The future life you want sits on the other side of making sure that you've got that muscular physique that sits on your skeleton. That is what we're all here for. Your new maintenance to your old maintenance. So before StrongHER, less muscle, lower maintenance. And that is the reality. When you go to sleep at night, when you have less muscle on your physique, you will burn less calories than somebody who has been strength training. Now, again, it says this at the bottom of the slide. I'm skipping ahead a bit, but one of the questions is, well, how much food am I gonna like end up reversing on? Like what's my new maintenance gonna be? I can't tell you. I don't know. And this will determine. So some of the women in StrongHER, they might have been dropping body fat, depending on their starting point, for like 2 years. They've got then 2 years of building muscle versus someone that maybe comes in and they've only got maybe 5 kilograms to lose and they get to the reverse a lot quicker. They might only, do you know what I mean, get to a lower maintenance. And then we might want to go through the next phases of a bulk and a cut and doing it that way. So they do gradually build themselves more calories in. These are all things taken into consideration. After strength training, you're going to have more muscle and you are going to have a higher resting metabolism. It's fact, it's the way of life. So an example, old maintenance might have been 1800 calories. That might be where you were. New maintenance now might be 2200, 2400. It's very, very likely inside of StrongHER that you will push over 2300. Can't think of anyone, maybe 2.2. I can't think of anyone that is lower than that. So you are at least buying like a decent buffer every single day, which again is amazing. More food, more energy, same body, or even better. So I'm scared of gaining weight again. Really, really common, especially if you've been on a bit of a tumultuous journey with your fat loss over the many years of doing different diets and things that haven't worked, and then you suddenly go, ah, I've got to eat more. She's telling me to eat more. I'm scared. I promise we know what we're doing. And you only have to ask, by the way, because every now and again someone will say, oh my God, I'm really scared to reverse. Put it in the group chat, please, for the love of God, and you will hear all of the success stories of all of the other women coming out of the woodworks going, oh my God, it's the best thing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Trust the process. So don't even take my word for it. Take your peers' word for it. What if my progress is undone and I don't trust myself with more food? We will work with you very closely on all of these kind of psychological battles that go on. And it won't be long. Give it a month and you'll think, wow, okay, yeah, it's making more sense now. I trust the process. So it's not even long before you see the differences. But you're not undoing your fat loss, it's protecting it. You're not going backwards, you are future proofing your results. Like we have to bring those calories back up. We cannot live. We were not designed to live on low calories forever. We want to get to this point. So week by week, slight weight changes, up, down, stable, less hunger can actually be really high at first. So this is one of the things that we've seen the most commonly is that feeling. So when you suddenly start increasing calories, your body's going, wow, she's feeding me. We're going to have really good calories, but you are still in a bit of a deficit. So your body can go, oh, I'm really hungry. So that first couple of weeks can be a little bit challenging, but I promise it is worth just hanging on in there. Better performance in workouts, you've got more fucking energy. Guess where you want to put it? Back into your lifting. More stable mood and energy. Again, it's going to make you feel better having more food. Who doesn't love food? Clearer hunger cues. You will learn that side of your body, which is really powerful for holding that for the rest of your life. So the goal is to get you guys eating as much as possible without gaining fat. So signs it's working, energy increasing, strength and performance improving, clothes still fitting or even getting better, digestion stabilizing, and confidence around food improving. They are all of the things that we want to see. How long does it take? This is one of the other questions I get asked all of the time. It really does depend. Now, I don't know why I wrote 4 to 12 weeks there. Nobody's ever done it in 4 weeks. I think that's actually a typo on my part. I would say probably 12 to 16 weeks, depending on so many different things, but your dieting history, starting calories, training intensity, and your body feedback. Like that's the reality. Like some might get there a bit quicker, some might get there, like take a bit longer. There is no exact amount of time. And it's a bit like people's fat loss phase as well, where people think, oh, I really feel like I should have got there by now. Like I'm a massive believer, you are exactly where you're meant to be. You are exactly where your level of dieting history has put you. You're exactly where your psychological output can actually take you to. Like it's the same in business. We very much say this with finances. If you hit a brick wall in terms of what your earning capability is, you need to expand your mindset in order to be able to move on to the next bit. There could well be a little bit of that goes on inside of this as well, where do you know what I mean? We've got to get to that point, haven't we? But we go at your body's pace, and I personally wouldn't rush it. I'd rather we get it right. And that is then the rest of your life. Do you know what I mean? You do it right once and then you can hold on to that forever, which is amazing. But like I say, very unemotional. It is what it is, and we're going to coach you through it. And it's just very data driven, and that's who I am. So why do we succeed at them? And we do it time and time again. Like I say, your peers will be going through it, a lot of them at the moment. Some of you guys have got this phase coming up, but you've already built the strength and structure. You track progress without obsessing. You've unlearned the old culture habits. You've supported with a coach. You're not doing this on your own, and you trust the process, even when it's scary. That's why these guys are succeeding. So you don't have to be perfect, but here is what's going to help. So consistency with training, that never changes, by the way. It doesn't matter what phase we're in. Obviously, we're developing the training, that changes, but we don't suddenly want to be like, oh, I can't be bothered to train in this phase. I've lost the body fat. I'm just going to stop. No. That's not how this works. Honest tracking, again, That has to happen. That's still something we need to be able to see the data in order to be able to make the decisions on what's going on. Open communication, telling us about plans, events, birthdays, celebrations, Christmas, blah, 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 all of these different things. And again, that's going to help us determine when we pull the trigger. Some of you guys are like Karen, as an example. She's got all of these swim events. We're like, we're better off just waiting a little bit of time before we pull the trigger because there's too much going on at the moment with we're doing like strategic refeeding around the swims, and it's like it's not going to give us the accurate data, so we're better off not pulling the trigger just yet. Trusting us, I hope by this point you would. Do you know what I mean? I really hope people do. And also celebrating the non-scale wins, because this is also the point where you need that shift. You need the shift. You've been working so hard towards scale win, scale win, scale win, chip away, chip away, chip away. And now it's like that's not the goal now. The goal is not to keep seeing those numbers coming down. So you also got to do a little bit of a kind of a 180 on that and go, right, okay, actually, yeah, that's no longer the person I am and the person I'm chasing to become. Like I've created her. She is here now. Now my purpose is to get her to stay. So what else can I focus my wins on and my self-belief on to go, right, okay, crushing this now. Do you know what I mean? It's usually pretty easy because you will feel fucking epic when you get more food and you're seeing everything just come together beautifully. But it is a superpower. Honest to God, it's probably my favorite part. I love it when people love a bulk. I do love a good professional bulk. I'm not talking about like a dirty bulk that goes ridiculous. I'm not into that. But people that do like a bulk, but unfortunately it's few and far between, which again, I get. Everyone's very different. It feels a bit scary to try and go, I actively want to put a bit of mass on. But reverse dieting is very, very fun. And if you lean into it, you will absolutely love it. I'm bored of talking now. Thank God that was the last slide. I'm going, no, I'm not talking on. We've got the point. You've all got it now. Right, let me stop that. Right, does anyone have any questions about reverse dieting? Yeah, Dubai baby. Literally going on Friday. So you're going to the sunshine and I'm going to the snow. But yours will be, I fucking love Dubai. Anyone that knows me, it's like my favorite place on this earth. Norway, Dubai are like, ooh, I don't know which way I'd go with that, but ideally I'd live 6 months in either. But they're both very fucking expensive, so need to do better. Um, Personally worried that I end up using the extra calories. To yes, so it does happen, Gemma, and I'd be lying if I told you it doesn't because it does. And unfortunately, this is where we still need to work on some of that relationship with the food. And again, we can coach you to try and make sure that we don't do that as best as we can. But usually, there's still an emotional eating element or something that we've not quite got fully to the bottom of at that point. But I would also say it would be quite unlikely that you would get to the reverse diet and that stuff is still going on. But again, it can happen. We can usually say, look, that's not what we're doing here. Do you know what I mean? Like we see it every now and again. Like Undies will admit to it. Ellen's done it a little bit where it's like, oh, gonna have a few sweets now. I'm just gonna have the sweet bits in there, and then it's kind of like, right, okay. And you can do that, by the way. You can have some more of the good stuff. We're not saying don't ever enjoy these things again. It's just still got to be in moderation. We still want to follow with more calories. We still want the 80-20 rule, right? That's still what we're working towards. So your 80-20 is just coming up because you're getting more food. So it's not to say that you can't. It's going to feel like your 20% is greater, but we don't want to fill like 500 calories with shit. But the weighing scales would reflect that. You would see the sugar intake, you would see like a reaction, and you would probably feel like you're reaching out because you know you're not quite getting it right. So that's where we'd have to do a piece of work around that. But again, don't fear that. Like, it is okay. We can absolutely still coach you through that. And like I say, it's not the first time it's happened, and it won't be the last time either. So you're not in like isolated territory where you'd be the only person to have ever gone through that. But we just want to mitigate it. But again, you do still get more of that stuff. So it is fun. And as a reminder as well, like I do still eat sweets. I don't really eat chocolate. I'm not. I had a couple of Maltesers today and I was like, ugh. They're just, I'm not. Chocolate does not do it for me. Sweets, absolutely fucking love. Could eat them till the cows come home. Um, what else? Like crisps. Really enjoy crisps. So, and again, if I saw somebody in a reverse diet that suddenly has like a packet of crisps in a day, but like no bother, no issues whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? That's absolutely fine. So it's levels. But again, new levels, new devils. We just have to figure different things out as you go through different phases and work with you on what's happening to this is why we do one-to-one coaching because everyone's going to react to different things completely differently. Really excited to see how my swimming performances improve once I'm eating more. Yes, yes, it does happen. You will see the PBs out of the park when people suddenly have more fuel because your body's going, oh my God, and it will expend the energy in the places that you want it to. The human body is wildly clever at doing that, but holding on to your leaner physique, your more muscular physique, your more toned physique, and having more food is like, it's the dream. It is the absolute dream. And then hitting like performance standards is just out of this world, like impressive. And this is like, I'm quite excited to show what's possible with more muscle mass, like having a baby. And I'm not talking about the bounce back, I don't intend to do that, but I intend to see what's actually possible with the body when it's got more muscle on it versus like somebody that potentially doesn't. Because again, I already know it's going to be mightily impressive and people go, fucking hell. But I'm not going to do anything specifically. Do you know what I mean? I'm just going to enjoy my life and do what I do the way I do it, like my dinner. Again, for those of you that were like, oh, it's boring. I haven't finished my salmon. A few peas rolling around. I didn't quite get time. So that is, do you know what I mean? Again, it's just salmon, potatoes, and veg. And like we're even talking about, and I don't fully understand any of this. So again, I might be a bit completely delulu, but things like those like baby pouches that you buy that are like smushed up food, and we're a bit like, why wouldn't you just wean onto the food we eat? Why wouldn't you wean a baby with some salmon, with some broccoli, with some, do you know what I mean? Like not onto shit smush that like has an expiration date in 7 months' time. I don't want to feed my baby that. I wouldn't eat it. You couldn't pay me to eat it. So why would I try and give it to a young baby when it's growing up? So it's those kind of things. I think nutrition and fitness are life. They're life, guys. They're life. But you're all in this. You all get that, which is amazing. So, do we have any other reverse diet questions or any other reverse diet shares? Any of you guys, quite a lot of you guys on have even done one. Like, what's your like put in the comments, what's your experience of doing it? Like what would you like other women to hear from your experiences? Well, I lose my voice. Oh, pervert. Been loving it so far. The energy is great. There you go. Yeah, that's it. And it is good. It is just, again, food is energy. It's where the magic happens. Yeah, trust the process. This is it. It's like all of these women are like, there's no one. You will never hear anyone inside of StrongHER go, yeah, that was shit. And I wish I didn't bother. I really wish I'd just quit before that phase because no one's ever going to say that ever, ever. So yeah, persevere and enjoy it and work with us really well because we enjoy doing it with you. Right. I think, do you change workouts like how many weeks in a reverse? So that doesn't change. So ideally, some of you guys are at a point now where you probably ought to be on a 6 week program. Now, I'm flexible on this depending on the person. So when you're newer to lifting, which is usually a fat loss phase, or when you come in, but it feels a bit like I want to try everything. I want to give everything in the gym a go. Like if you get that bug, you really get it. Or at home, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You want to try every exercise. But when you get stronger, excuse me, 4 weeks might not be enough to hit a PB. So, like undies, this is a conversation I've been thinking about having with you, but you really like the change of the workout. So, again, I'm happy to do it either way. But it's like if 4 weeks isn't enough for you when you start getting really strong, you might need a little bit more to get to that point. So this is where sometimes not shifting the workouts as much, but again, it's not based on the reverse diet or fat loss phase or that doesn't shift. It's more based on whether you've got the time to hit the PBs that you want or not, and whether we need to increase that amount of time because you're getting stronger. Or yeah, so it's more based on your journey in terms of that's almost like a standalone piece, if that makes sense, rather than any different because of the fat loss phase, reverse diet phase that you're in. So that doesn't shift. And this is it, Undies. I have a feeling because you chased me every 4 weeks. I have a feeling that was the case. So I kind of didn't bother. Whereas, like, Dina is on a 6 week program, Caroline's on a 6 week program. So they've been in the program a while. Whereas Undies, I can tell, does like that refresh. So it's kind of, again, that's not specific. As long as we feel like we're training well, that's more the point. Like I've been following my program that I've been doing, and you'll see like my big lifts are like I've got squats, I've got deadlifts, I've got RDLs, like they're my bigger lifts that I tend to record that you see them. And then obviously I've got all the accessories that I don't tend to film anymore. Um, I've probably been doing that for definitely since Christmas. And I did think once I get back from skiing, I'll probably rewrite my program and I'll change it. But I really enjoy those lifts. And at the minute, I'm not going for PBs. I'm going for enjoyment. I'm going for mental health. I'm going to keep my body at a certain standard that I'm happy with. So again, my goals are just very different. Otherwise, I would probably change every 6 to 8 weeks normally. But at the minute, I'm going longer because like I say, I'm there for a different purpose. So everyone's different. And again, that's the benefit of one-to-one coaching. You don't have to follow a one size fits all. We can do it around preferences and what we actually want to do. Right. I'm going to love you and leave you all. So don't forget, I'm going skiing on Friday. It doesn't mean I'm not around. I am. It's just I'm going to be very, very intermittent with replying, and Thomas doesn't dare drive on the other side of the road in a foreign country. So the driving is on me. And if I'm too tired, my poor mother is going to step into our car. So yeah, that's it. But over the weekend, and I obviously will not be skiing like normal. I'm going to do a little bit because I'm a bit of a daredevil. I like to take risks. But I will be sat on my phone most of the time going, I'm bored. Everyone else is skiing, and I'm just sitting looking at a mountain, unable to ski because I'm too tired. So there is that. And don't forget to share the free challenge, gang. I will put that artwork in right now. Get it shared. You might as well see if you can get some free coaching out of it. Anyone that's inquired, send it to WhatsApp, send it to your stories. Do what you got to do, ladies. Right. I will love you and leave you. Have a great week. Mwah. Bye.